first things first, we're going viral. Yesterday, Hall of Famer and Niners legend Jerry Rice was just like us, a huge fan rooting for his team. And before the game, he showed us that maybe he could still be on the field, running this route, catching a touchdown. It's not bad for a, what is he, 57 now?
He is, and I'm telling you right now, Larry Fitzgerald announced he's coming back again.
Yeah.
If Fitzy plays like 3 more years, he could catch or break some of Jerry's records. If Fitzy gets close, Jerry's going to ask for some tryouts. Jerry's going to try to add a little more separation.
I bet you Jerry thinks he could very realistically be on a field for 18 next year.
I was with Jerry. My last training camp was his last. He was trying to make a comeback with Denver, with the Broncos, was in camp. And the routes didn't look that much different than right there, which is why he kind of quietly went away. And Mike Shanahan was like, hey, this has been nice, but I think it's time to hang it up. He absolutely believes in his mind he can still go.
And he obviously can't play anymore. But people forget, he was awesome even in Oakland.
Yeah.
In Oakland, he was 1,000-yard receiver.
Yep.
He was unbelievable.
Best ever.
Time for stories to start your morning. Patrick Mahomes led the Kansas City Chiefs with 53
Obviously, Patrick's
rushing yards.
better than him, but
And a
different
touchdown.
position.
I mean, we can anticipate.
Although I think he has a couple catches, doesn't he? You would take him over that.
His nearly 300 passing yards and another 3 touchdowns through the air. So KC's heading to Super Bowl 54. Nick, how impressive was Patrick Mahomes?
He continues to get better every single playoff game. He ups the ante every time we see him play. I know he didn't have quite the eye-popping stats he did against Houston, but I would consider this a far tougher defense, a better defensive game plan, and oddly, I thought down 17-7 to Tennessee was far more dire than down 24-0 to Houston because there was so much time left in that defense, so susceptible. The way he gets the crowd and his team fired up with single plays like this one that essentially ended the football game at the end of the first half, it's unbelievable.
So you can't put into words how special he is. You really can't. You mentioned some of the firing up his teammates, which we saw on full display against the Texans when they were down and it looked like they were down and out. And he's like, we're going to do something special. Runs like this. You mentioned that being the dagger. I would say this 3rd and 6 to Sammy Watkins was the dagger. It was 3rd and 6. Everybody was covered underneath. He buys just a split second more of time. And that is impossible to ask somebody to run with Sammy Watkins for that long. It's off the cuff, it's improvisation, it's playing within the system, it's running, it's everything. He's got it all.
That Sammy Watkins play culminated a 35-7 Chiefs run.
Yep.
On to the Niners now, and they just crushed the Packers. Raheem Mostert had a historic night, finishing with 220 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns to help carry the Niners to Super Bowl 54. Nick, how impressive was Raheem Mostert?
He was excellent. Obviously, the Niners' offensive line dominated this game. Kittle did a great job, as he always does, blocking. You saw in that touchdown we just showed you, rookie wide receiver Deebo Samuel blocking. Kyle Shanahan had a great game plan, and Mostert took advantage of it. Coleman gets carted off. They're not really leaning on Breida that much anymore. He was going to get lion's share of carries, and he stepped up, Danny.
We use the term, hey, you can replace somebody, or it's a system that they can go in. You don't have that type of night as just some dude. And this is a guy who's worked so hard. He's been through so many ups and downs, and he referenced after the game, hey, Kyle Shanahan believed in me. There was a time I thought I was going to get cut, but he said, you know what, we're going to find a way to implement you. And Kyle Shanahan may be this is about Raheem Mostert, but Kyle Shanahan, as great as a play caller as he is, he might be even a better recognizer of talent and saying, hey, this guy's going to work for me. And so it's incredible what he did last night. Great story, too.
All right, finally, for the first time since 2010, the Patriots did not play in the conference championship game this weekend. More time for Tom Brady, who's set to become a free agent. And while he helped the Patriots win 6 Super Bowls, his future with the team is up in the air. Listen to what Brady had to say when asked if it's a realistic possibility that he'd play for another team.
I'm open-minded about the process, and, at the same time, I love playing football, and I want to continue to play and do a great job. So I'm looking forward to what's ahead. Whatever the future may bring, I'll embrace it with open arms.
All right, Nick, what do you think? Starting to look more and more like Brady will not be with the Patriots next year?
Well, it's certainly not looking less likely. If you are holding on to hope, and I don't want to act like there's no hope, but holding on to the hope that Tom Brady goes back to New England, there hasn't been a single thing that has happened since the end of the season that has been reassuring. It's only been bad news. Now, how bad are the news? Moving out of the house in Massachusetts? A little bit. Fully cleaning out his suite at Gillette? Not great. Showing up at the UFC fight and, you know, hanging out with an owner of another football team, or at least saying hello. Not ideal. That comment right there, open-minded about it, not great. The report that he's embarrassed by his salary, which, by the way, I'd love to, if that's accurate, who's causing his embarrassment? Is Giselle like, hey, broke boy, do you know how long it's been since I made $23 million in a year? 2008, give me a, like, I mean, so whatever it is, there are more and more signs that Brady is actually entertaining his options. But we knew, Danny, he wanted to do that when before the year, when they wouldn't give him the contract extension, they would only give him the raise. He also asked for and was granted that they put in the contract, you can't franchise tag me. You don't, listen, you don't ask for a prenuptial agreement unless there's somewhere in your head, you're like, well, maybe I might need it. You don't say to your team, I don't want you to have the right to franchise tag me unless you think I might go somewhere else. So to me, yeah, signs continue to point to the fact that Brady is going to play next year, but in a different uniform.
We've argued, you and I have argued before about how guys handle themselves with the press, right? I think Brady gave you the perfect response there because negotiation-wise, it's really smart because he puts the Patriots in a spot where they're saying, oh, there's an ounce of doubt, like you're talking about. But also, you don't want to lose the fans of New England because they adore you. You know, it's at least the ones that aren't burning his jersey when he has a bad year. But for the most part, they adore him. So he doesn't want to bail on them. So he handled it perfectly. I wish you could hear an unfiltered Brady. Like, man, bleep this. Or, hey, I do want to see what's out there. Like, what is he talking about, Mark Davis? Because I guarantee you it's not hair options, like hairstyle options, what they're going to go with. But I would be curious to know what he's thinking behind the scenes. But ultimately, when it all settles, I do think he's going back to the Patriots.
But do you think Tom Brady could still command an elite paycheck, an elite style type of paycheck with another team?
Yes, in a league where Nick Foles gets more than $20 million, Brady can at least get 25. And I do think for Tom, people need to recognize this part of it. It is important to him that he make it to age 45, that is playing, that he continues to play in big games because his post-career setup is all about, it's not about going into coaching, it's not about going into television. It's about the whole TB12 lifestyle, and he wants that he will be the case study of, if you follow my method, you can play longer than anyone ever. Not just for athletes, but also for just regular people that want to continue to be able to play in their weekend basketball leagues or whatever it is. And so the math for Brady is also going to be, what franchise is going to give me the best opportunity to show that I am still good? Not just win games, because it's not just play the way the Patriots did this year, where he was a supporting actor, where he can be more front and center. I believe that matters to what he's trying to accomplish when he's accomplished everything else, Danny, because he knows what he wants to do post-career, and he has told the whole world, at least until I'm 45, which means 3 more years.
But how many people do you think believed him when he said that, outside of him? Because I think everybody was like, and Drew Brees has said it as well, and I think everybody looks at it as like, it did. It seemed laughable, and now that you're approaching where it looks more likely than not, you're like, oh, maybe this guy is onto something. But I would say his company's going to be fine regardless because he's already sustained a level of success post-40 that we've ever seen in the game before. So, but I think it's fascinating, though, as far as what would you like. We had Mangini on here, and we're asking him, and he said, I think it'd be awful. I think it would be fun to watch him play somewhere else, to see that challenge, because Brady and Belichick are always linked together, and there is ego involved here. I think both of them are a little bit curious about, hey, could I do it without him? And maybe that comes into play. But again, it feels sort of like the Alex Guerrero controversy where it's like, hey, this dynasty's ending now and it's going to be separated. ultimately, they checked their egos at the door because they realized our best chance to win another Super Bowl is together.
And he doesn't want to be what Peyton was in that last year when he won the Super Bowl, just sort of like you said, a piece that just sticks in while everything else
He'd
around
take
him.
one. I don't think he knew he could get it.
Him being a factor or him picking up another ring?
I think he wants to see what it would be like to play with elite weapons again.
Yeah.
And the Patriots are not going to be able to retool enough to where they have anything close to, for example, what the Chargers have in Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, and Austin Eckler. And so I think that is fascinating and intriguing for him.
All right, let's break there. Coming up, should Tom Brady be worried about Patrick Mahomes coming for his GOAT title?
Oh, how about that? His